Hi guys, welcome to lesson 5 of your virtual learning experience. This lesson is going to be more so about checking in on what you've learned so far, less about learning new things. So unlike previous Edpuzzles, you are not going to be answering a question every 3 seconds. This is going to just be one shorter Edpuzzle with only 3 questions you have to answer, but it is getting graded on correctness and recorded in Skyward. So make sure that you're checking and figuring out anything you've misunderstood so far. Maybe you want to pause the video and go back to my YouTube channel and watch some videos before going and trying to answer these questions, because what I have learned from some students is that whenever you press something, submit an answer into Edpuzzle, you're not able to go back and fix it and change your answer. So make sure whatever you're writing down is what you're expecting to get graded. So we're going to move into a quick review of the Pythagorean theorem just to make sure that we're feeling confident moving into these questions. So the Pythagorean theorem is the formula that we can use to find out things about right triangles specifically. Now there are 2 different components of a right triangle. You have the legs, which are represented with letters A and B. Those 2 sides make the right angle, and they're the 2 shorter sides of the right triangle. And then there's C, which is the hypotenuse of the right triangle. It's opposite the right angle, and it's the largest side. Now, these 3 components create the Pythagorean theorem, which is a formula we can use for one of 2 things. 1, we can use the formula to find missing sides of right triangles, or 2, if you're given 3 measurements, you can figure out if those 3 measurements create a right triangle. So the formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You can solve it and then simplify down the radical, and that's the form we're going to be looking at today, is the simplified radical form. Those are the way I want you to write the answer in today's questions. All of the questions today are going to be related to baseball, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of background information about why we're dealing with baseball as the sport of choice today. So a baseball diamond is actually a square, and we know that a square has 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. If you can find right angles in the shape within a square, if we can create right triangles, then you can use the Pythagorean theorem to solve problems about distances. And that's what we're going to be doing. So there's going to be one scenario we're focusing on today. And then from that scenario, we're going to ask 3 questions. And those are the 3 questions I'm going to have graded. Make sure you read all of the directions. So the scenario is Horace Hansen is the catcher for the Humboldt Bees baseball team. Sneaky Sally Smith is the star for the Canfield Cats, and she's on first base. Sally is known for stealing bases, so Horace is keeping an eye on her. The pitcher throws a fastball, and the batter swings and misses. Horace catches the pitch, and out of the corner of his eye, he sees Sally take off for second base. So, I've added a little bit of labels to our figure. We have the baseball diamond. The distances are measured. It's 90 feet from base to base, and each angle is 90 degrees. And I've just indicated that Horace is the catcher, so he's behind home plate, and Sally is on first base, so I just put Sally at first base for you guys just to help with the visualization. So now we're going to take that scenario, and we're going to look at the first question. The first question is asking, how far must Horace throw the baseball to get Sally out at second base? Explain. 2 things when you're answering this question. 1, make sure that you're answering the question in simplified radical form. And 2, make sure you're remembering to explain how you're getting your answer. What steps did you take to find the answer? Both of those parts are helping me figure out what we understand so far. Now we're going to move into the second question, question B, which is still going to be based off this same idea of Horace and Sally at this baseball game. So now let's go and read question B. Question B says, the shortstop is standing on the baseline halfway between second base and third base. How far is the shortstop from Horace? So the shortstop, I added a little bit of a diagram there. SS represents shortstop. The shortstop is directly between second base and third base. So we're trying to figure out how far the shortstop is from Horace, who is at home plate. For this question, you just need to write your answer in simplified radical form, and you don't need to explain. Now we're going to move on to question C. C is going to be our last question of the day, and we're going to then wrap up what our lesson is. Question C says, the pitcher's mound is 60 feet 6 inches from home plate. Use this information and your answer to question A to find the distance from the pitcher's mound to each base. So this question is going to have not one answer, but 3 answers. How far is the pitcher's mound from first base? How far is the pitcher's mound from second base? And how far is the pitcher's mound from third base? Make sure you're writing that in simplified radical form. All right, now to wrap up this lesson, I'll tell you about what we're doing next today, kind of where we're going ahead for the next lesson as well. So what's next? So what I want you guys to do now is to just, now that you finished today's Edpuzzle, this is the only required assignment for today. For next class, by the end of the day, next time you have math, you are going to be submitting a project. On Classroom, in the classwork tab, there's an assignment and there's 3 different options. One is based on an art project, one is based on football, and one is based on a taco truck. You can pick any of the 3 assignments and you're going to click the directions for that given assignment, whichever you choose, follow all the directions, and submit it on Google Classroom. That is not due today, that is due for our following class. So next class, you have to submit that project and there's going to be another quick assignment. So just make sure you get both of those things done for next class. If you have questions, you can always reach out to me, ask me a question via email. If you wanted to do a Google Meet, you can email me about setting up a Google Meet. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day and I'll hopefully hear from you soon. I'm looking forward to seeing those projects.